can't stop me.
I'm telling you fools that I got nothing left to lose. Broken and bruised, black and blue, still on the move. And I'm showing the world I still got a lot more to prove. Now I'm coming out, swinging for your phone to ring. Standing there bleeding, yeah, you know what I bring. Know what I mean? Dark when the bell is rung, cause it's a little too late now to get up and run. Get up and run. You're broken every part of me. I'm putting it up, beating down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. You see it's a calm before the storm. I was born for more, now you got me ready for war. Remember my name, everybody out of my way. Back up or get knocked out, this ain't a game. Cause I never stay down when they put me around. See the world stand up when they give me the crown. Now it's don't stop, do or die, dead or alive. You can try to kill me, but I will survive. I will survive. You're broken every part of me. I'm putting it up, beating down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. You can't stop me. Can't stop me. No, 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 you can't stop me. I'm bloodied and I'm beaten down. I keep rising higher, 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 higher. You're broken every part of me. I'm bloodied and I'm beaten down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. Can't stop me, no, can't stop me.
And what's up, all y'all trickly bastards? And welcome back to 1700 Somewhere. As always, I'm Athen.
I'm Cameron, and I know y'all bastards missed me.
A little bit.
A little bit. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. So I did manage to find plenty of stories today, but today we're only going to have one OSHA violation, and you'll see why. You'll see why when we get to it, because it is. When I couldn't ruin this one with other photos. This one I think this one took the cake.
Sounds like
this. This one won for me. This is the worst screw up I have ever seen. So be looking forward to that.
Real quick, one question: Did the position of your mic change any at all? Because you sound a little hollow.
No, but I can turn my gain up. How's that? A little better.
A little better, yeah.
Let me turn it. How's that?
That's better, yeah.
There you go. See, that's why I like having my microphone right here. I can mess with my controls and everything. No, the only thing that changed was the placement of my camera, so that way you're looking more at me. And I'm nice and pretty, and God, I'm pale as shit. I need to get some sun. But we saw what happened last time I got sun. I turned out looking like this cap.
Right.
I don't suntan, I sunburn.
I usually only sunburn like once a year. Once I sunburn, then I just get tan.
Well, I mean, I work nights now, and I've been
True.
working nights for about a year, so I don't get a lot of sunlight in the first place. So it's very difficult for me to get some sunlight in general. And when I do, it's normally, hey, my buddy wants to go fishing, so we're out there for 6 hours or more, and we screw up and forget sunscreen because I hate putting that crap on me. And I get home and regret the hell out of it later.
Right.
Yeah, it's don't forget the sunscreen.
I remember one time. This was a couple years ago. I actually went wakeboarding with my brother-in-law, and get out there, and I didn't bring any suntan lotion. Nobody else did, and I was like, I should be all right. Sit on the boat, spend the entire day out on the boat, and I just got freaking roasted on my legs. Just so one of the worst sunburns I ever had. Yeah. I will never not use suntan lotion again because I've always thought, hey, I don't really sunburn that bad usually, but I'll sunburn and then I don't sunburn anymore.
One thing I have learned is no matter what, put sunscreen everywhere because a beard does not protect from sunburn. Man, the last time we went out, or the time before last, we didn't need it last time. There was enough overcast, we were fine. But the time before last when we went out, I covered my face, I covered my arms, everything else was fine. I get home and I get in a hot shower. I'm like, all right, I got to wash all this funk off me. I got to relax, do what I need to do. And as soon as that hot water hit the beard, it was like, oh no, what did I do? What's going on? I looked in the mirror, I separated, like, oh yeah, that's burned. So yeah, you need to really work it into the hair too. It's so bad. It's great for cold weather and everything. It's great for protecting against the wind, but it does not help for shit against sunlight. Oh God. But you burn faster in overcast. Shut up, Gene. Shut up, Gene.
I wasn't gonna mention that one.
We did. The first time we had a little. It wasn't as thick overcast as it was last time we went out. The first time I really did get sunburned bad. If you watched that episode, I matched my flag. It was overcast and we screwed up because it was just sunny enough to burn us, but not enough to where you could feel it burning you. So we kind of learned our lesson there. I say kind of because we really don't like sunscreen. We have it on the boat every time, regardless. That will never change. We always have it, but we don't always use it. But we're going to get into our stories today. Y'all know I love doing wacky animals. I got to have them. But this is kind of weird. March 25th, police in Wisconsin responded to a nursing home where an officer had to play football and ended up tackling a deer. That's right. The Wausau Police Department said their officers were dispatched to this nursing home after witnesses reported a deer was wandering the building after it had crashed through the window. The department shared the body cam footage of the officers chasing the deer through the video, and we will watch that footage. One of the officers, Aaron Carlin, a former college and Canadian professional football player, was able to tackle the deer so it could be transported outside. Seeing as how Officer Carlin led a previous life as an elite football athlete, we'll give a nod to the UW Stevens Point football and the Alouettes de Montreal for helping him be ready to tackle this call, the department said. The deer was not seriously injured and was released back into the wild. Now let's pull that footage up. Do Athen, if you'd be so kind.
Yep, right there.
Uh-oh.
Hey, do we have a shield by chance? Watch this thing come around and just deck me. Where is it?
Nursing station, take a right.
Is it in a room?
Is it in a room?
No, it's in the hall, get the hall scared. It's a smaller door. It's supposed to be the window.
Where's the window broke?
It's down here.
Holy moly.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Oh. What's what is that? An outside door?
That's
How does it open? Just push it? Okay. We gotta stay shoulder to shoulder.
All that broken glass.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got it. Go open that door. Go open that door. Go open that door.
Oh, when they said tackle, I thought he came
Hey,
just.
can we have another nurse over here?
Thought he just laid out a full-on freaking Goldberg spear on that.
Yeah, that's what I was really
I
expecting.
got him. I'm squeezing. Tell Jason.
Are they handcuffing it? Hey, you have the right to remain.
All right, hold on. We got one.
You have the right to a deer attorney. Anything you bleep at me can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Get kicked?
That's a bad spot to be pushing that deer because you can get kicked in the giblets real well.
Oh yeah.
You guys all right?
Yeah, we're good.
1 6.
All righty.
Got your dad checking in there.
I was really disappointed. I thought when they said they tackled the deer, I was expecting full like Randy Orton out of the corner or, you know, Widowmaker just coming out of the blue and boom. I was really hoping when they said tackled the deer that he flat out laid out a deer. But no, that was more like, stop being stupid. We're going to get you outside. It's what I do to Gunny when he's being annoying on the show. Just push him down real quick. Like, nope, you're done. I mean, they didn't really need to tase it. It just kind of walked up to him and was like, hey, get me the hell out of here. Now, imagine having to report this to Amazon. Now, normally when you have a package stolen, you report it and they replace it immediately. But if you have proof that package was stolen, then they can hunt down or they can try and go after the person that stole it. But this is a little difficult because this package was stolen from a porch in Chicago by a squirrel.
By a squirrel?
You heard me right. A squirrel. Jade's out in Chicago stealing everybody's crap right now. Watch yourself. March 25th. If you don't know Jade, she's a little combat cricket friend, and she's real small. We call her the tactical squirrel sometimes. But this Chicago family was sitting on their front porch and witnessed an unusual package theft when a squirrel grabbed the parcel and took to the roof of a building. Naomi Gutierrez said she was on her front porch with her family in Avondale when they spotted the squirrel approaching an Amazon package that had just been dropped off to a building across the street. Gutierrez's mother recorded the video as the squirrel grabbed the package and carried it to the roof of the building. We laughed because we couldn't believe it, Gutierrez states. She said the squirrel is suspected to be the same animal that stole her tortillas from her porch earlier in March. I just want to know how many packages are on the roof between the crack right now. And there is video of this too. Let me make sure there's no ads because we know we're not trying to give anybody free advertising. Athen, if you'd be so kind to pull that up right now. Thank you.
I'm guessing there must be food in there or something.
It's got to be. That squirrel's eating good if it's food.
Yeah. It's like, I couldn't see a squirrel really stealing things for any other reason than having food.
I mean, he possibly stole a package of tortillas, so.
Yeah, because it's like, I know like weasels and ferrets and stuff, they'll steal stuff just because they like it and they think it's cool for some reason. But
Jade Lopez got a cape. If she could see this right now, she'd be so mad at us.
Right. So
He got up there. He got up there quick with that package. So it's not. I don't see that being a very heavy package, but still, the fact that he just grabbed and ran. I'm curious as well. I want to get a drone up there and see how much crap he's stolen.
Watch, it's a bag of walnuts.
Oh. Well, we bought it just for him. It was his bag, and we just had it shipped to our address. It's fine. It's fine.
That way he doesn't have to work as hard for Storm for the winter, you know?
Yep. There's not a lot of trees for him to hide his nuts, so we just buy it for him, you know. We don't like that he litters, but, you know, he doesn't know how to recycle, so we can understand it. Now, this is a big bird. When you hear this, imagine big bird, big emu bird. Police are warning aggression of RHEA bird, so it looks like a big-ass emu on the loose in England. Yep. March 26th, police in Britain are warning residents of a town to beware of multiple rhea birds spotted running loose in the area. The Hertfordshire Constabulary said the rheas, smaller cousins of the ostrich, have been seen running wild in residential areas along the busy M25 road in the Three Rivers of England. Police warned residents to steer clear of the bird if they're spotted in public. Unfortunately, we have received reports of them attacking dogs and deer. So we asked dog owners to be vigilant when out walking. Police Constable Christian Gottman of the Ricksmansworth and District Safer Neighborhood team said police said they have been unable to identify the owner of the birds to determine their origins. These birds are certainly an unusual sight on the street of the Three Rivers, and we want to reassure the public that we are working in partnership with the Three Rivers District Council, Highways, and our Rural Operational Support Team to come up with a plan to capture and rehome the birds to a suitable animal reserve.
Yeah, attacking deer and dogs and stuff like that. I mean, these are a dangerous animal. Like they got some claws.
I agree, and they got hard beaks, and they got a rubber neck. They're giant, evil geese.
Well, they're effectively the closest approximation to dinosaurs we have. These emus, ostriches, and cassowaries, and I guess this thing now.
Well, I mean, geese are already evil, but it's basically a goose on steroids.
Yes.
I just want to know, like, I'm gonna pull out of this article a little bit. Who the hell names these places? Like the Three Rivers District Council, Highways, and our Rural Operational Support Team. That's a long name. Like, what the hell? Like, hey, we need to get a hold of the Three Rivers District Council, Highways, and our Rural Operational Support Team. Like,
do they?
At least in America, I don't know, not in the article, but at least here in America, we just say cops, FBI, stuff like that. We have acronyms, we have shortened versions of it. Over there, it's like, we need to get a hold of the dictionary name.
Can you read the organization to me again?
Can you spell out each word for me? Like, that's just annoying to me. Like, if I need to get a hold of somebody, like, hey, we can say the Who. We can say so many other shortened versions of things. Over there, it's just, hey, we need to get a hold of these guys. What's that? This book is their name. You tell me I got to read this whole book to say their name? Yep. No. Ridiculous. Britain. Now imagine having this good of a boy. Ontario dog stopped traffic to rescue their owner while they were having a seizure. That's right. This is a good boy. An Ontario dog is being hailed as a hero after she stopped traffic. Oh, good girl. To get help for her owner who was suffering from a seizure. Haley Moore of Ottawa said she was walking her 1.5-year-old dog Clover through her family's Stittsville neighborhood last week when she had a seizure. All I remember is waking up in the ambulance and being really confused, just like what's going on. A neighbor's security camera filled in the blanks in the story, showing Clover checking on Moore before running into the street to stop a passing truck. It was really impressive. The dog actually blocked my way. She kind of backed into the road and blocked my truck, said Dryden Ottawa, the driver of the truck. Another passing driver, Daniel Pylon, stopped to help, and Clover then ran off back to her home. You could tell she didn't want to leave her even when we were with her, but I think it just came to her that she was like, I need to go home to let them know she needs help. Moore's parents, Randall and Diane Moore, said the neighbors heard Clover's barking and accompanied her to the door. The dog led them to where Haley Moore was awaiting an ambulance. Moore was not seriously injured during the incident, but doctors still haven't determined what has caused the seizure. If this ends up happening again, I feel 10 times safer, and I know she will be there for me, Moore said. You know how good animals are, and she's really an amazing dog, and I love her to death. Moore said she is grateful for the help of her neighbors and the outpouring of support since her seizure. I don't know how to fully express how appreciative and grateful for all the support that I've been given for the last week's incident. Last week was a roller coaster full of emotions and very eventful. Again, thank you everyone for everything, she said in her Facebook post. Moore's parents said they rewarded Clover for her heroism with a big, juicy steak.
Did it say anything about what kind of dog she was?
No, but I have a video of it, so you can kind of guess it yourself.
I'm betting it's a terrier of some sort.
It's a big old floofy dog. All right, go ahead, pull that up real quick.
Clover and I were on our.
Oh, that's a
and
retriever.
That
I think.
don't remember what happened.
Either that or American
All
Eskimo.
I remember was I woke up.
We're not going to watch this whole thing.
Action, and she helped.
Does that look like a lab to you also?
In my life, and I'm very.
I've never seen a white lab.
So I was just leaving for work.
Doesn't
Where's
quite
the-
look like
9:30 in the morning.
Dad, you
and
know
I just
dogs
turned
well.
around
What
the
is
corner And
this?
saw Clover in the middle of.
After that,
Dad knows dogs. He loves doing show dogs. So
It's not floofy enough to be an American Eskimo. Otherwise, I would say it looks exactly like an American Eskimo.
yeah, he should know if he's still watching. He'll be able to tell us what kind of dog that is. I have no idea. It's big, it's white, and it's floofy.
Maybe it's an American Newfie, maybe, but Newfies are usually more curly, aren't they?
Mm-mm. I have a boxer and a lab. And
I mean,
both.
it could be an American Eskimo cross with lab.
Kyrie thinks it's Pyrenees mix.
A Pyrenees, maybe.
Yeah,
Great White, yeah, maybe.
But it looks like Dad dipped out. Booger. Now, this next article gave me a little bit of a headache finding it. San Francisco poop testing company has been charged with fraud. See?
So what exactly are they testing the poop for in the first place?
We're going to get into that. I just had to let you wrap your head around that real quick. Just come to acceptance that this is what we're talking about. Yeah. Imagine swabbing your butt only to find out the procedure was nothing. At least we'd be upset. You might think your poop is nothing but a waste product, but you'd be wrong. It can actually hold valuable information about your health. And yes, it is fraudulent. That's why companies provide different kinds of services to analyze your bodily waste. But for one such company, their test material just hit the fan. On March 18th, the Federal Securities and Exchange Commission charged San Francisco-based Ubiome with massive investor and insurance fraud. The company, founded in 2012, provided services that they claimed accurately analyzed the customer's intestinal microbiome, except that they didn't. According to the SEC's company, tests were nothing but bull fecal samples, so they were testing bull crap. Sounds like this company's just all sorts of full of shit.
I'm thinking it sounds like they're just using the bull fecal samples, like saying this bullshit. They're not actually testing anything.
No, they were testing bullshit from what I'm reading. They were testing actual bull waste versus human waste, which they were supposed to do. According to the SECU Biomes founder Jessica Richmond and Zachary Schulz Apty, they had collected more than $60 million from investors based on bogus claims about their company. They presented their firm as a successful startup with proven business models. Richmond and Apty portrayed the company as having a strong track record of receiving health insurance reimbursement for its clinical test, which purportedly could detect microorganisms and assist in diagnosing disease. These claims were false and misleading because Ubiome's purported success in generating revenue depended on duping doctors into ordering unnecessary tests and other improper practices. This is a humiliating fall from grace for Ubiome. Upon its founding, the company was touted as the up-and-coming champions in the field of butt swabbing. The company's service model was simple. For a fee as low as $100, their customers would get their very own sample collection kit. The kit contains several color-coded small vials with a Q-tip-like swab attached to the lid. Based on the color, people would use the swab to collect a sample from the appropriate bodily area from behind the ears to the gastrointestinal tract. Just so we're clear, that means your anus. After the swab, the customer would mail the kit back to Ubiome. They would then analyze the samples. To keep their costs low, the company claimed to analyze for only one gene, the 16S ribosomal RNA gene, according to Berkeley Science Review. This one gene is sufficient to determine what bacteria are present in the person's internal microbiome.
What was the name of the gene again?
16S ribosomal RNA gene.
Okay.
Yeah. After the analysis, customers would be able to view the results on the Ubiome's website. Although they never claimed the results were all encompassing, they said the business would demonstrate that citizen science can guide meaningful research. According to the company, their work would allow people to follow the development of their microbiome over time. This could then guide their lifestyle choices from diet to exercise routines. Claims upon claims. As it turns out, it wasn't quite as true as the SEC claims. The company's entire business model revolved around false and dubious medical tests. Customers who bought the test didn't learn anything new. One Ubiome customer, Mark Harris, said his doctor believed the tests were pointless, and he ended up completing only 2 of the 6 swabs. Despite the incomplete test, his insurance records showed that Ubiome had received 5 payments for it, each at nearly $3,000. 5 payments at $3,000 from his insurance company for a test that's supposed to cost $100.
Well, there's that. So are they saying that this test isn't actually even like working, or are they just saying that they're way overcharging for it?
The SEC is claiming that the test, they're not even doing the test appropriately. Right.
Because remember, a few shows ago, we did a story about how the Chinese government was forcing American like dignitaries and stuff like that, American
they were doing COVID tests out the butthole.
Yeah, up the butthole. So I think these are related.
No, this is they were testing for health and wellness versus China's testing for the coronavirus. This one was to better people's everyday health, where the other one was just to test for that specific disease. That one may work. This one was, hey, we're going to charge the shit out of your insurance. We're going to charge you $100, and you're going to stick a Q-tip up your butt. That's what this is, hey, stick this Q-tip up your butthole, send it to us, and we'll tell you what's wrong with you. But they weren't even testing and telling people what was actually wrong with you. It sounded like, from what I've gathered, is they were either testing bulls' fecal matter, they were running tests on the actual bull crap, versus testing the actual humans' crap. And they also lied and said that they were only charging $100 for the test, whereas they were actually charging close to $15,000 for the tests. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to look up something if I can find it real quick. So keep going.
Okay. To hide their shady practices from investors and insurers, the SEC says UBIOM gave them falsified or outdated medical records. This allowed them to keep raking in money from investors and insurance claims. But with the paper trail as massive as it is in medical testing, it should come to no surprise that eventually their cover got blown in 2019 after the company officially shut down, but not before the FBI raided their offices. Richmond and Apte's efforts to conceal practices unraveled, which led to UBIOM suspending its medical test businesses and entering into bankruptcy. In addition to claiming insurance and investor fraud, the owners sold their company's stocks. Richmond and Apte were each enriched by millions through selling their own UBIOM shares during the fraudulent fundraising round. Aaron Schneider, director of the SEC San Francisco regional office, has stated UBIOM's reputation as a fast-growing biotech pioneer was built on deceit. Investors are entitled to know the material risks of the companies they are investing in, no matter how transformative those companies claim to be. The sad part about it all is that microbiome testing can genuinely help medical procedures. According to doctors, actual doctors can analyze the bacterial balance and draw conclusions on what might be ailing the patient. We can only hope fraudulent companies like UBIOM don't end up undermining public trust in medical science. It will. It 100. Many people already don't like doctors. I'm one of them. Insurance is a giant scam as is, and if you actually ask for a itemized receipt from your doctor's office, many times that bill will half, if not reduce by about 80%. Just because they throw anything and everything on there they can charge you for. Mind you, we do have to pay a good amount for medical procedures and certain aspects like that. But some of the like I've seen a bill for a woman that had just given birth that was charged for skin-to-skin contact with her child after the baby had been born.
They'll charge for all kinds of stupid things. But you know what's the weird thing? So what I was looking up is I went into the article and I found the name of the gene that it tests for. And just Googling that gene, I got a website where I can go and buy my very own, not from that particular company, but very own fecal swab kit. And
you're going to stick a Q-tip up your butt?
It is only $936 US.
Oh. Oh, at least UBIOM was charging the people $100 in the insurance money. They want to charge you some money. Good Lord, I ain't doing it.
There's that link for anybody who's interested in perhaps potentially
sticking a Q-tip up
your butt.
Hey, man, there's some people out there that like that stuff. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. Now, this article made me so happy. Oh, this article made me so happy.
Oh, yeah?
Maine is considering legalizing Viking funerals. Bro, for those of you who don't know what a Viking funeral is, they take an old boat or build a boat on wood, line it with some of your riches, some of your friends and family donate something that they held dear to them. They put it on the boat with you. They push that boat out, and they shoot a flaming arrow at it. And that boat burns while you're being cremated as your boat goes out to sea, or in certain cases, a lake, and eventually sinks and goes back to the water. Now, if y'all remember, we covered about a year ago, it's been a while now, where a family actually did a Viking funeral on a lake, but they used a crap ton of fireworks and actually caused the boat to explode, sending the body everywhere, just everywhere.
Oh no, I got hit by a piece of grandpa.
There once was a last name Jill who used dynamite stick for a thrill. They found her vagina in North Carolina and bits of her tits in Brazil. There's your old Irish rhyme for you for your day. But no, this one, it's actually, don't use explosives, don't use tannerite, gasoline, you're pushing it too much and it will explode. But the Maine is actually considering legalizing Viking funerals, and I thought that was awesome. I was just so happy about that. So y'all know what my will's going to say. Y'all's asses are going to have to haul my big ass out to Maine, make an old wood boat, push that bitch out, and light it on fire. Just saying, James.
That's the way I want to go out, raining down on all my loved ones.
You're the guy that wants to have your body separated at Disney World without being cremated. Got it. I was so happy. But the new bill has been submitted to the Maine State Legislature's Health and Human Services Committee. Would legalize open-air funeral pyres. In other words, this is the closest you can get to the actual Viking funeral. The picture of the legendary Viking funeral practice has become synonymous with literally going out in a blaze of glory. And there's just something about having your earthly remains disposed of by setting them off on a burning boat. That's so cool.
So they said funeral pyres were already legal, but now they want to make it so you can do it with a boat?
No, they're trying to legalize funeral pyres is what they're doing.
Okay, but that's not the
that's
boat.
That's the closest they're going to get to the Viking funeral.
Okay.
From what they're allowing the pyre, whereas, I mean,
I feel as though
what are they going to do? They're going to go out with a freaking fire hose and put your burning boat body out and drag you back and say, "No, you got to cremate them the right way." No, just put me on a boat, push it out there, light that son of a bitch up, have a moment of silence, say your prayers, whatever, and run.
I don't understand. I don't understand why they're what's the reason they're saying, well, we can do pyres but not a boat? Because I would figure there'd be more risk involved with a pyre than there would be with a boat on water.
Not necessarily. With a funeral pyre, most of the time you have to prep the actual area and you need to have some kind of way to put the fire out close at hand.
True.
So most of the time for a situation like this, I imagine they would have the fire department actually involved. Whereas if you light a boat on fire and push it out to the water, if a current takes it, if another boat passes by, if somebody spilled oil or gasoline onto the water, if there's floating debris nearby, it could push into land. It could push into that garbage. It could push into any number of things. It could run into a fishing boat, and it could risk catching that on fire. And you don't have the fire department or a means of readily putting that fire out.
That's why
where that fire is at.
But that's why in those types of situations, I mean, in lots of places that have large lakes or, are coastal, they'll have, vehicles, aquatic vehicles for the fire department, first of all. But then you could also put an escort boat out there to escort the little boat while it's burning until it's burnt and sunk, or to, make sure the area is clean. I mean,
the easiest thing I see doing would be get a biodegradable rope, so a natural rope like hemp, not nylon, cotton, stuff like that. Take a big rock, so you're not just leaving metal out in the middle of this lake. Take the boat out to where you want it to be at, drop that rope anchor, and then light it on fire there.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, at least the boat can start to burn while it's in a safe anchored location. You can verify everything around it's clear.
Mm-hmm.
Once that rope's burned, you're kind of SOL. But that would be the way I could see doing it efficiently with mitigating most of those risks. Because at the point that rope is going to burn, the boat should already be, if you anchor at the stern and you light the bow on fire, by the time that fire gets to the stern where your rope is, the boat should already be in enough damage where it's getting to the point where it's about to sink.
Especially if we're actually using rope.
Yes.
because rope is a steel wire.
So
Remember
Just-
Navy terminology. A rope is a steel wire. Steel wire.
yeah. But that's how I see doing that, doing an actual Viking funeral in a safe manner. Now, I'm telling y'all, for me, just get the wood boat, drag it out to sea for a little bit, light it on fire, have your moment of silence, prayers, whatever you want to do, and then run. Let whoever finds me deal with that problem. Just saying. Now, I used to hate roller coasters for situations like this, but I enjoy roller coasters now. But I can tell you, if I got put into this situation, my love for the adrenaline would change very, very drastically, because these teens were stranded for 2 hours on the slingshot ride after the cable snapped.
Oh no.
So that tells me they're not doing the regular maintenance. So they are not doing any kind of preventative maintenance on these rides. They're not doing inspections that they should be doing. But this is a Florida story, but it is not our Florida stories yet. March 26th, state officials in Florida said all slingshot rides in the state have been closed for inspection after a snapped cable left 2 teenagers temporarily stranded on a ride. See, again, they shut down all the state's rides because of this one. That tells me they're not doing any kind of maintenance on these.
Dude, I don't do rides like that. Like, this is going to be a little bit embarrassing and all that stuff, but I'm actually kind of terrified of even just a Ferris wheel, because I'm sitting there as they're unloading and all that stuff. You're just kind of slowly going around, sitting up at the very top. I'm just sitting there looking around at every single fucking thing that could fail, and how likely it is people are actually doing real maintenance on it.
Yeah. I now, when I was applying for work, after I'm still dealing with my injury 3 years later. But when I was cleared to start easy work, I can't do heavy duty work anymore at all, and I'm still waiting on another surgery, and we've been fighting that for a year. But when I was applying to find work, I found a lot of jobs that are roller coaster maintenance based. Mm-hmm. So I know at least in Texas they're doing regular maintenance, but
on roller coasters and things, those tend to be a lot more upkept and taken care of. Now, when we're talking about like fair rides and like, Ferris wheels and all that stuff, I'm not going to trust those things.
No. Anytime the state fair comes in, I don't ever. That's a little sham, quick setup. I've seen those Ferris wheels set up on bricks and plywood. You really think I'm going to get on a Ferris wheel that's being supported by a 2x4? You are high. You are high. You think I'm going to get on that crap? That's why they rope off so much of the backside, so you can't see that, so they can still make money. As long as it looks safe, people are willing to ride it. But when you actually go and look at those, I would never personally get on a roller coaster. I mean, look at how many lawsuits that these little impromptu setups have. How many times they've been sued because something went wrong. They don't do maintenance. They tear it down, throw it up as quick as they can, and they hire people that just put it together like, oh yeah, there's an extra part, just means I'm good at my job. No, it doesn't work that way. Just because you have an extra part doesn't mean it's a good thing. It's like me putting a gun back together and saying, oh hey, I have an extra spring. I guess I'm better at building my gun than the guy that made it. No, it doesn't work that way.
When I was on the Navy, a lot of equipment I'd work on, like especially in connection boxes and all that stuff, after I'd be done, I'd have all kinds of washers left over and all that stuff. People would be like, what's that? Spare parts. But it's like inside of a connection box on your pen board, the washers in there don't really matter that much. So
now, I never had spare parts on a submarine. I had old abused parts that we replaced. Mm-hmm. But no, I'm not getting on a state fair roller coaster Ferris wheel. But, I mean, Florida doesn't even do any. Those slingshot rides, I'll tell you right now, are some of the most risky rides you get on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only one I can say from my opinion, again, this is my opinion, the only one I can say that is more risky is, those dead drop slides at water parks. You go over the hill and it's straight down.
I'm okay with those ones.
Those are more risky only if you do something stupid. Example would be you use your legs or hands and you push off the back.
Like freaking. Here's how I feel about Ferris wheels and all that stuff, like the carnival rides and fair rides and all that stuff. I would rather ride the Colossus at Six Flags over riding one of those.
We just got a doorbell, so you continue on. I'm gonna go and
check
America real quick.
And what the Colossus is at Six Flags it's a wooden roller coaster. I want to say it's one of the largest in America or one of the oldest in America, and it's like a full wooden roller coaster. Let me see real quick. Let me look it up. Remember, I've ridden on it a couple times when I lived in Southern California when I was a kid. Let's see. Oh. Okay, it closed down in 2014. Huh. Okay, so now, and it came back to 2015 as a hybrid roller coaster called the Twisted Colossus.
Roommate ordered food.
Okay.
We don't have people that come to our house often. Most of the time it is for food. However, what was it? It was either last 4th of July or last New Year's before the last one. We had a drunk gentleman come to our house at 11 at night. And he had been an ass during the fireworks. So now when we hear doorbells, we typically come a little prepared now.
So that the Colossus I was talking about, the Colossus at Six Flags. So that was actually closed down in 2014, but it was the world's tallest and fastest wooden roller coaster, and also the first one with 2 over 100-foot drops. But in 2015, they brought it back as a hybrid roller coaster, so wood and metal.
Yeah. But as I was saying, the slingshot and the dead drop water slides. The water slide is only bad if you push off. That has killed and crippled people because you can do that. You're still sliding, but if you look at the bottom, you've got that steep slope. So if you push off, your odds are, and I've seen people actually entirely miss the water slide itself. So instead of coming down into the water, they've hit off onto the concrete on the side, or if they've pushed off too far, instead of hitting that slope where it's able to control your body, they hit deeper down or they miss that slope entirely, and it's just a straight drop at that point in time. The reason why I say the slingshot is risky, especially now, is saying they don't do enough maintenance on them. Plus, that cable is almost always under tension. I figured they would be doing daily checks, shut down for an hour a day, or, before or after closing, go look, check your cables, make sure there's no frays, everything's tight, because again, that is just constantly under pressure, and things under pressure eventually will give. And especially going into that article, I will never ride the slingshot.
But it's like, so I already looked it up and I already knew what it was, but I'd never heard it.
As far as I know, it's called the Euphoria coaster, and it has a series of loops that are designed to drain the blood from your brain so you die in a state of euphoria. No one has ever made one that I know of. It was only a concept that was created. It wasn't actually put into effect, but I think that would be an effective way to deal with criminals. It's a humane way. You get to go out with an adrenaline rush, and it would be cheaper than chemical execution.
So, but at that point, do we use the restraints in the seats for them?
You'd have to. I mean, you'd still have to put you'd put them in, cuffed and everything, and then you take their cuffs and everything off so they can wave their hands and have the fun and shit like that. But I think that would be a humane way to do executions. Would be the suicide coasters.
Fair enough.
Again, I just looking at cost for, you basically send all the death row criminals that are up for their, and I don't think somebody needs to sit on death row for 20, 40 years. If you get the death penalty, then you've got the time frame, which I think is you can challenge it 2 times, and it's 3 years each. So you get a total of it's about 6 years. So I'd give them about 7, 8 years to try and prove their innocence. But after that, you're sitting on taxpayers' dollar. Prisons aren't going to do it because they like collecting that paycheck. But after 7 years, if you've been on death row or if you get the death penalty immediately, you go over, you get sent to wherever the hell this roller coaster is set up. So they put you on a bus, get your ass over there, you get a sleep, get your last meal and everything. Although I've been hearing some states have actually gotten rid of the last meal, which I think is ridiculous. I think you're entitled to one last real good meal before you die, and that's just across the board for anything.
Well, yeah, a lot of prisons have changed it to where it's just normal prison food that they get for their last meal. I
don't agree with that. I think you deserve one last good meal. No matter how much of a monster you were.
I was thinking, what about if we make this whole like suicide roller coaster for the executions, like this whole last chance, like dark Disney visit? You go to like this theme park full of you're about to be put to death.
That would be too much money. I can justify the one roller coaster. I can't justify a theme park because the odds of them actually being able to escape would skyrocket. Again, you're already giving them odds to escape by transportation as well as putting them on the roller coaster itself. But I could only justify the one roller coaster.
Well, I wasn't talking about a whole bunch of rides, just like this little kind of small theme park leading up to your roller coaster ride. You get your last.
Now, what I could see doing is if states are getting rid of the last meal, that theme park has food stands for them.
That's what I was meaning.
You could go up, get corn dogs, hot dogs, funnel cakes. You could get all sorts of carnival foods, popcorn, slushies, stuff like that, and kind of have a last meal. Fried Twinkies, stuff like that. And then you're getting put on the roller coaster. So it kind of eases you down a little bit more.
Then you can go visit the Crypt Keeper's Den. And
jackass. But no, I could fully support doing the Euphoria coaster for execution because it is still a humane way to do an execution. I see no reason why it wouldn't be deemed as humane because it was designed for that euphoric sensation before you passed away. You're not being shot. You're not being hung, beheaded, no electric chair. So it's by the definition, it would still be a humane way to go out. Now you can opt out of it. Like if you really hate roller coasters, if you're just afraid of roller coasters, okay, we're not going to put you on it. That's pushing some boundaries for the laws. But if you're willing to, we'll send you out. We'll put you on this roller coaster, and we can have you go out in peaceful means. And you can have one last like somewhat enjoyable meal. Because, again, if you're about to die, I think you're entitled to certain rights and liberties. Now, if you're not able to get, like, food and stuff like that, say somebody wants to kill you and they manage to win, they clip you and you're down, they come up with a gun overhead. Okay, you get last words and you get a last smoke, or you can, just some things you can get. But that's just how I am. I'm about to die. I want to enjoy one last earthly thing before I have to bite the bullet. And I think that goes for everybody. Now, I can argue that. I can argue that for like pedophiles, you're a monster. You're not human anymore. And I don't think you deserve any rights, liberties. And it doesn't matter how we put you down. Anytime a dog bites a child, we put that dog down. So I really don't care what happens to pedophiles at all. But for, murderers and stuff like that, yeah, you're an ass, but you didn't touch a kid. So I can kind of let that go. But yeah, I think that would be a lot cheaper. And you could do it in mass loads. Like you could put 20, 30 criminals on at a time.
See, that would cause implications to the whole theme park thing, because then you'd have criminals all running around amok, and who knows what could happen. So
I'm not saying like they get a whole theme park. Like you're going to get escorted. You're going to have armed security and everything. Like make this theme park a max security prison kind of ordeal.
We can make it to where, like, there's another part, like you have the arena and all that stuff, like monster trucks or something. We could do like demolition derbies without seatbelts or helmets.
No, again, you're getting into too much money. We're not trying to give them a last like happy day, or we're giving them a last meal that's convenient, and we're killing them in a humane manner. You want to give these criminals like, hey, happy birthday, enjoy yourself. No, like here's food.
I'm just trying to be like, everything's something that could end up killing you, or make every third corn dog freaking spoiled or something.
We've poisoned every third corn dog. We've put enough laxative to kill an elephant in every fifth cannoli. No, they get some real food, because you poison, you risk pushing the humane manner. I mean, even with lethal injection, technically that's not humane either, because it's not FDA regulated. It's hard to regulate the toxins they utilize in the first place. So a lot of these places are getting these chemicals from outside sources that are unapproved. And there have been many cases where they have used them and they've made them sick. They didn't work at all. Mm-hmm. They caused severe bleeding. They've been painful. So even lethal injection has its flaws. Now, if the Euphoria coaster does actually work, I see that being even more humane than lethal injection. Let's not forget, in the state of Texas, lethal injection is $10,000 a person.
Damn.
So lethal injection is expensive as hell. So again, I'm thinking money, save some money, deal with a lot of people. They get a last meal. Yeah. But moving on, we've talked about killing criminals long enough. Probably concerning whatever people are still watching right now. I was just bouncing ideas out there, man. Like, what do you want from me? But you can have people pay to watch them.
So it looks like we're getting ready to go into our OSHA violations.
We're gonna know. Oh, this is not supposed to be the next article. This is supposed to be one of the later ones. We are getting close to that. I'm gonna knock out one more story because it's a follow-up article.
Yes, I saw that one.
Yeah, y'all remember the dominatrices that we had in Louisiana that got jiggy with the pastor on the altar? Mm-hmm. Well, if you don't, there was a pair of whores, actual whores, prostitutes, whatever you want to call them, pay for sex women, that filmed a porno with a pastor or a priest, on an altar in the church that got busted by passerbys because they saw lights on. Well, come to find out, they have been finally charged. They've been charged with vandalism. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. So they finally got their charge. This is from March 22nd. They finally got charged for everything. They were originally charged by the police with obscenity following the alleged tryst in September inside St. Peter and Paul Catholic Church in Pearl River, New Orleans. Come to find out, they had to burn the altar.
Oh, really?
They burned, because not only were these women wearing corsets and high heels during this threesome, they recorded the threesome on the altar, but they were using stage lights and sex toys on this altar. This altar got desecrated really quick.
Well, why just toss some holy water on there and be like, all those things, and it's fixed.
So because of this role play and the abuse of the altar, the church actually burned down the altar, had a new one built, and then consecrated it last October.
But why can't they just reconsecrate it?
I don't think it works that way.
Just wash it with some holy water.
I don't think it works. I think they were more scared of the fact that they were dominatrices. Like, you see these two leather-clad, like, sadomasochistic bondage women on your altar doing unholy acts.
I'm sure the priests have done worse.
I can guarantee they've done worse. But they got caught, so they wanted to. I mean, that thing was ruined. I feel sorry for the people that passed by and saw this. But yeah, they did have to actually destroy that altar. Just wanted to tell y'all that. But as promised.
So before we get into OSHA violations, I want to do our ads real quick. So just wanted to remind you guys to check out the rest of the awesome stuff that we have on WO Entertainment over here. Let me give you a readout of that. So on Mondays at 8 o'clock, we have, or 08, so that's 8 in the morning, we have Wake Up Gallatin. Also on Mondays at 1900 Central Standard Time, that is the Second Amendment Ranch with Cameron and Carl.
Wake Up Gallatin is Monday through Friday at 8
every
a.m.
morning at 8 a.m.
Every morning but weekends, 8 a.m.
So,
and then we have Chasing the Wolf at, I think, 9 a.m. on Mondays.
Saturdays. So I'm going through the list right here. I just missed the Monday to Friday part. So Tuesday at 1700, we got WO Radio with Redneck Pimp and Goose. On Wednesdays at 1900 Central, we have Blue Phoenix Gaming with Jennifer. On Thursdays at 1400 Central, we have Cars and Coronas with Gapple Bays. On Thursdays at 1700, we have the Harambe Keeper with Mickey. And then also on Thursday, Jesus, we got a lot of shows on Thursday. On Thursdays at 1900, we have HTX Renegade Radio. On Fridays at 1900, we have Happy Hour with William. Saturday at 8 in the morning, we have Chasing the Wolf. On Saturdays at 1900, we have Hot Boxing with Matt. On Sundays at 1400, we have, no, that's not 1400. Oh, yeah, 1400 CS time Central. We have the L Train Fighters with me, Don, and sometimes Niko. On Sundays at 1700, you're watching right now. And then Sundays at 1930, so following us, there's Paranormal Nation Radio.
We will not be having Paranormal Nation Radio today. Carl is sick, so he's taking the day to get better.
All right. So, and then also don't forget to keep in touch, keep listening in about what we have going on with Warrior Fest. We still don't have any real updates for that. So as of right now, it's going to be somewhere around Missouri-ish, and also around
it'll be in Missouri, but we don't know where at in Missouri right now. They're still trying to find a venue for what we know. There will be live music, live comedy, beer, alcohol, and giveaways, half and half, raffles, stuff like that.
And Redneck's comedy show was yesterday. So there we go. All right. Continuing on with the OSHA violations.
It's ready when you are. All right, now don't pull. Oh, all right.
Oh, you told me it was ready when I was.
Yeah, I warned y'all. This is bad. This is bad.
Are those ratchet straps holding the wall up?
Those are ratchet straps that aren't even ratcheted. Those are ratchet straps that are tied.
And the dude standing on top up there. That's some big ass balls.
I told you this one was bad, and that's why I only did the one today.
And then those are stacks
Yeah, they put bricks or boards in the windows so that way they could tie off a little further in. That whole wall is cracked down the entire side. It's already coming out. It's already leaning in the first place.
That wall's falling off. Like those
yeah,
straps are the only things holding it.
Yeah, exactly. Those straps are the only thing holding that wall where it's at right now. And that dude up top, and I don't know about y'all, but brick walls are normally structure supporting walls. And he's on the roof of a building that has its structure, one, already compromised to hell, but two, that structure is getting ready to go bye-bye.
Yep. Let's try to use Gorilla Glue. I'm just wondering what the point of the 4x. I'm just thinking those are 4x4s, but I'm wondering what the point of that is because they're not even laid out properly to provide actually any support for the clamp.
I don't know. They could have tied it just to the side of the window. Maybe there was something in the building they're trying to keep it off of.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is they're going across the building. So there's another set of windows on the other side.
Yeah.
And they're using the trimmers as kind of that support there. And then those boards are running across to basically give an anchor point for that wall. But the way those boards would be stacked like that, it would be real easy for that strap to slip through. But I just don't understand the point. Just
this was just a giant shit show.
Maybe a brick crusade.
I couldn't wrap my mind around this one. I had to share this. I had to let other people see this giant nightmare. That building's done. That whole building is going to come down.
Maybe they're just trying to keep it up until they can demo it.
Maybe because it looks like an older building and there is scaffolding on the backside. But I mean, if they were tearing it down by hand, this area up here would be torn apart. Everything on the top they would take it down level by level, so that way it doesn't crush anybody. You know, if they're not using explosives, they can't make it implode. Stuff like that. So it doesn't make sense that they'd be demoing this building one wall at a time, especially tying the one demoed wall up.
I don't know. I can't make any rhyme or reason of it, but
if you can make rhyme or reason of it, you're probably right. I'm just gonna, because I sure as hell can't. This is just I mean, if you look, this is a window that has bricks in it. So this building is just let it die. Just go to the light.
just walk away.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I can tell you, if I saw this building, one, I'm probably going to take a knife to some of these cables because I'm an asshole like that. But two, after that, I'm just going to walk away. I'm going to let it go. Be like Elsa.
Be the person standing on top.
No, no. No. And it looks like he's got his leg on the wall. So he's putting even more weight on these straps, which are already holding a whole ass brick wall.
It looks like he's got his hand on that chimney and he's got his foot on the top of the wall with his other hand on his knee. And he's kind of looking over the wall. That's what it looks like. This also looks like it's an older picture too.
It looks like he's trying to figure out how he's going to put this wall back together again. I'm sorry, it's not Humpty Dumpty. It's not going to work.
So, and I'd be thinking that, you know, this is probably taken, you know, this picture looks like it's older. So I'm thinking maybe 70s, 80s with this pictures. And, you know, they weren't as picky about all these safety things back then as they are now.
Probably, because I imagine anybody that or it's a foreign country with a low quality camera.
Yeah,
but I can imagine any OSHA inspector that's seeing this right now is having an aneurysm.
Dean's saying he thinks it might be a facade.
I don't know. Most of the time when I see brick walls, especially that thick, because that's not a single brick, that's doubled if not tripled. I'd say that would be structural. I mean, if it separates more, we could see in and see if the floor was attached to it. But yeah, I'm good. I'm quite all right. I'm moving quickly. But there you go. That's the nightmare I found for OSHA violations last night. Moving on with our articles. A Tennessee woman attacked and robbed 14-year-old trampoline park employee. Now, what? Because I'm not quite sure what that actually meant. Tennessee police say 5 women assaulted a 14-year-old worker and stole her cell phone and headphones Sunday. The victim, an employee, so they hired a 14-year-old to work here. Okay. But the victim, an employee at Urban Air Trampoline and Adventure Park in Memphis, had asked the group to leave, according to the local media. Urban Air is a national chain where children can play on trampolines, rock walls, and gymnastics equipment, along with other items. It also hosts birthday parties. There had been a fight inside the park before the assault. The victim's mother told the station that her daughter and other employees had been tasked with asking the group guests to leave the venue if they were not there for the party. She asked, walking the woman out of the building when they allegedly attacked her in the parking lot. Police released surveillance images of the attack and are asking the public for help tracking down the suspects. Photos show the group of women apparently throwing punches as the onlookers stand behind them. A Memphis Police Department spokeswoman told Fox News Friday that she was not aware of any of the people in the background stepping in to help break up the fight or help the girl. Police are seeking the public's help identifying suspects, and Crime Stoppers is offering a $1,000 reward while the assailants remain at large. What kind of audacity do you have to assault a 14-year-old?
People these days just don't. The only thing that matters is like. There's another story I heard just today. I saw it was one of my pop-ups. There was like these 14-year-old girls that actually like assaulted and murdered a Uber driver here recently.
See, this is the problem I have in today's society. My dad whooped my ass many times. He got rid of that entitlement mentality and showed me there's consequences to all your actions. The fact that nobody stepped in to help this 14-year-old girl is baffling to me. The fact that there wasn't one man willing to throw hands on somebody else's behalf to protect a minor is disgusting to me. But the fact that these women decided it would be a good idea to attack a girl doing her job, I can tell you right now, I don't care what job I'm at. If you decide you're going to throw hands at me, I'm going to clean your clock. I don't care. I'll get fired and I'll sue that company. But I'm gonna rock your world. I don't care how. I will bite everything off. I'm taking chunks of you with me.
A big problem with all this anymore is it's almost impossible because you said you were afraid you were gonna get your ass whooped as a kid. So was I. Nowadays, sadly, you can't really be a parent like that anymore. It's like nowadays, like legit, you get threatened by your kids that they're gonna go to school and tell the school cops that you're abusing them because you grounded them from their mobile device because they refuse to do their chores. Which chores are taking out trash and doing dishes,
mowing the lawn, weeding.
Well, none of even that. It's doing dishes and taking out the trash is all we actually have.
I had laundry, dishes, mow, weed, clean the pool.
Oh yeah, I did too, but we don't have a lawn or anything like that, so there's nothing to mow or weed.
But you're right. We don't have the ability to punish children anymore. And let's not forget, it used to be in society you could throw hands and that was it. Nowadays, if you win the fight, even if that other person started it, unless you can prove they started the fight, or if you don't have enough witnesses, or if they have witnesses that are willing to lie, you're going to jail for defending yourself because you won the fight. And there's the other fact that if you do win the fight, they could come back with a gun. Yep. So it's not just settled with hands anymore. They want to get the cops involved. And many, many, many people are willing to lie. So if you get into a situation, it's getting to the point where you almost have to have a GoPro strapped to your chest 24 hours a day which is absolutely bizarre. But I mean, with how many cameras are out there right now, if you get into this situation, bite their dick off.
Mhm.
Do it. Do it. Show them you are batshit crazy.
Right?
Don't take crap. Don't, let me be clear. Very, very clear here. Don't ever start a fight. Don't do it. Don't be that asshole. You know, we all get aggression. We all get pissed off a lot. I know I do. Don't start the fight ever. Get your phone out, start recording, even if it's just audio. But don't take shit. There's too many people nowadays are weak-willed, soft people. We've come to this submissive society where the aggressors get away with what they want to do because they're willing to be more violent. The first to violence should not win. You need to be willing to do more violent activities to them. It's the old quote is, it is better to be a warrior in a garden than it is to be a gardener in a war.
Mm-hmm.
Practice violence safely, but don't promote it. So when times come to utilize that violence, you can do it better than the people that are coming after you. And when I say you get in a fight and use violence, I'm not talking about, throw hands, we're going to box and bullshit. No, if you get in a legitimate fight, there is no such thing as right, wrong, cheating, dirty, nothing. If you get in a fight, and I mean a fight, not this MMA crap, do everything. Kick him in the giblets, rip a titty off, pull their hair, punch him in the neck. Like, when I say do violence, I mean cause some harm, because you need to be the one that's going home, not to the hospital. Because odds are, especially in a group mob mentality, once they start, they're not stopping. In Texas, you have to stop once they hit the ground. If you're defending yourself, as soon as they hit the ground, it's over, you're done. You have to walk away. The problem with that mob mentality and them assaulting you, look at the riots that Antifa have been causing, Black Lives Matter has been causing. When they have got somebody on the ground, they are curb stomping. They're just kicking the dog shit out of this person on the ground. So don't be the one that goes to the ground in this situation. You need to be the person putting them down. Doesn't matter how many there are. That's why I say bite their dick off. Because as soon as you bite one dude's dick off, everybody else that wants to kick your ass is like, oh, hell no. No, it's gone. So be crazy, be aggressive, do everything. Be the one that goes home. This is just
Good rant.
disgusting. Yeah, this is just shit like this irritates the hell out of me because nobody stood in for this girl.
I'd like to add an amendment to that, James. Take your clothes off, shit in your hand, and then start acting crazy.
That'll work too. Nobody wants to fight a naked dude covered in shit. Nobody wants to fight a naked dude, but two, if you got your hands covered in shit, that's toxic damage right there. Like, that's adding +1 toxicity to your hands.
Let's go, motherfucker.
Let's do this. Man, if he punches me in the mouth, I'm going to be vomiting. I ain't doing this. Exactly. There's no such thing as fighting dirty. Do what you need to do. If you got a gun, good on you. You know, you've got that going for you. If you don't, if you got a knife, a baton, pepper spray, hell, if you got pepper spray, spray that shit on your hands. Let's go. Did he just spray pepper spray on his hands? Yep. Let's do this. Be crazy. Show them you mean business. But stand up for the weak ones. Now, this one, I followed up with this one because I wanted to get away from the rants and tangents, because I'll probably go on another one here at the end of the show. Why the hell is Cinnamon Toast Crunch having to investigate claims of shrimp tails in their cereal?
I mean, cinnamon goes good on shrimp.
Ladies and gentlemen, Athen Daily. No, seriously. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is having to investigate claims of shrimp tails in their cereals. Twitter users are scratching their heads over the Los Angeles man's claims that he found shrimp tails in his Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the cereal maker's explanations for the alleged findings. Jensen Karp, a writer and TV producer, contacted the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Twitter account Monday after he claimed to discover the fishing-looking items in his cereal. And there are tails. Let me show you this image real quick. Share screen. There you go. Pull that up, Athen. That's a shrimp tail.
Those are shrimp tails.
And they look like they've been cinnamon toast seasoned.
They look like they've been like dehydrated and seasoned. Those almost, maybe there's a shrimp tail snack that's in some General Mills Asian category.
Maybe. At first, Cereal's social media team apologized and asked for more information. The tweet says, "We're sorry to see what you found. We would like to report this to our quality team and replace the box. Can you please send us a DM to collect more details? Thank you." The Cinnamon Toast Twitter account then claimed that what Karp thought were shrimp tails were actually an accumulation of cinnamon sugar. Bullshit. That was a tail. I saw the clear part. I saw it. I seen it. I know what that is. I've fished with enough shrimp. I've eaten enough shrimp. I know what a shrimp tail looks like.
That certainly looks like a shrimp tail.
After further investigation with our team that closely examined the image, it appears to be an accumulation of the cinnamon sugar that sometimes can occur with other ingredients that aren't thoroughly blended. We assure you that there's no possibility of cross-contamination with shrimp. Karp was skeptical, very skeptical, so much that he accused the cereal manufacturing of was lying and posting another photo of the pieces to Twitter. Here's another clearer photo. Athen, if you'd be so kind.
Sorry.
Nah, I just got it up. That's a tail.
That is definitely a shrimp tail.
That's not an accumulation of. That would be too thin. That is transparent right here. You can see his hand. That is too clear for sugar, especially in a box that gets shaken quite a bit by a bunch of kids to maintain together. If this was sugar, this would stay together. I could believe this was sugar. If I just saw this piece right here, okay, yeah, that's sugar. But that's not sugar.
Yeah, I was looking at it on my screen because I opened the article. I'm definitely going with that. Looks like a shrimp tail.
What do y'all think? That's a shrimp tail. Tell us below. Is that sugar or shrimp tails? After further investigation with our team, yep, there's that bull crap. That's their Twitter post. He went digging deeper into the cereal bag, part of a 2-pack purchase at Costco, and made other discoveries. I was convinced to go back through the bag since when I first noticed the shrimp tails, I freaked out and closed. Lunch missed the trash can. Since when I first noticed the shrimp tails, I freaked out and closed the box. Here's all my findings, which now includes little weird strings. Okay, here's more crap you found in this box. Let's Athen.
Oh,
yep.
there.
Shrimp tail.
There's several shrimp tails in there.
That's shrimp tail, possibly shrimp tail. Not really sure what that is. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is.
Actually, string in there.
Yeah, that right there is a string.
At least one of those is definitely a shrimp tail.
Yeah, at least one of these is a shrimp tail. Karp said his wife, actress Danielle Fishel, also discovered what looked like dental floss in another cereal bag. Karp eventually came to the theory that the box was somehow infested by a rat that left droppings and other collections. Neither Karp nor General Mills, which makes Cinnamon Toast Crunch, immediately responded to requests for comments. On Tuesday, Jensen tweeted he was taking the tails to a lab to be tested for DNA to see if they were really shrimp. Cinnamon Toast Crunch put out a statement saying whatever Karp found in his cereal didn't occur at any of their facilities, and told customers who encountered similar findings to reach out. Bro, if DNA evidence comes back that that's a shrimp and you were lying through your teeth, you have a huge lawsuit coming your way.
Yeah. Well, and he happens to be the husband of a Hollywood actress, so that's going in their favor for that particular thing, I'd assume. But
I mean, they
it's
got
like,
money.
mm-hmm. But it's like, yeah, at least one of those things definitely looked like a shrimp tail, and then there was definitely what seemed to be dental floss in there. Said rats or mice might have gotten into the box. So are they talking about like in the? And I can't even see how that works because the bags I would assume are stored on like rolls, and it would be sealed at one end and then cut and then rolled forward, filled, sealed, put in the box, and all that's like.
What I could see if they're including rats, I can honestly see General Mills having a rat problem for one. It's a giant cereal company, but I could see the rats getting into where the finished cereal is getting ready to be put into the bags and into the boxes. So they're hanging out there. They got unlimited food. All they got to do is keep climbing to the top. Every now and again, they go somewhere else to sleep. But that's where they eat. They go get all that cereal. They take all their food there, any things they want to have. But I could see rats carrying shrimp tails, floss, string, everything into the cereal packaging area and having contaminated the hell out of that with rat droppings, shrimp, floss, strings, everything like that. And then General Mills not paying enough attention to it and then bagging that. And now lying, saying that it's sugar. It's sugar. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Mary J. Bright over here in the comments said they tried to get him to send the evidence. So, yeah, of course they're going to. That way they can be like, yeah, we tested it, came back negative, and then destroy the evidence and be like,
exactly.
Well, what?
If somebody asks you for the evidence, never send them unless it's a photocopy. You can print it out. You can give them copies of it. Never send them the hard evidence ever. Your case will be thrown out so quick.
Yeah, you get your information you need on that stuff first, and be like, okay, now that I've gotten everything I need, sure, you can have it.
Or send like a piece. Like you had 2-3 tails there. Send a tail.
Yeah.
But send your collections to 3-4 different DNA areas. Send that out so you can have, hey, our DNA evidence, General Mills DNA evidence says it's sugar. Well, I've got 4 companies, including the one you used, which is odd, saying that it's all shrimp tails and dental floss. So that way, when you go to court, it's not just his word versus her word. It's his, hers, his, hers versus theirs. It's 4 or 5 to 1. So that way, when evidence or when they do discuss it, it's like, well, you only used one, whereas I've used many, and every single one of them says it is shrimp.
I might also have to add in this kind of makes me really sad because Cinnamon Toast Crunch is like my most favorite cereal there is.
Reese's Pieces. Which, unfortunately, I think is also owned by General Mills.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not a huge breakfast guy. I like bacon. I do like eggs every now and again, but it's like once a year. And when I do get eggs, I'll make like a dozen of them and eat them raw or hard-boiled, soft-boiled, over easy, stuff like that. I really want to learn how to make a good egg salad and make some sandwiches.
Oh, yes. That's really easy, dude.
I know. I'm just lazy and like cooking things that are easy because I want to spend my time doing other crap. And now Dad's back. We were trying to ask you a question earlier, Mr. Bates.
But as far as with like the egg salad, it's not even that hard.
It's like mayonnaise, mustard, relish, salt, pepper, a little bit of sugar, and cayenne pepper.
I don't even do all that. I just take and put some cold water in a pot, put the eggs in it, turn it on to medium-high heat. When it boils, turn the water off, pull the eggs out, crack them, peel them, chop them, toss in a couple tablespoons of mayonnaise, about a tablespoon of mustard, some salt, pepper, and maybe a little bit of dill. That's it.
Oh, that's right, dill. I always forget the dill. Yeah, we were trying to ask you about a dog breed earlier. If we get time at the end of the show, we will be readdressing that.
Next up,
we
on the
want
second
we want to find out what kind of dog that was that helped with the seizure. I wish I could. Is it gonna? I think it's gonna be one of the harder ones. Yeah, it's gonna be one of the harder ones to find. Of course, it is. Nope, there it is. Just found it. Okay, Dad, if you're still there, what kind of pause? Okay, share screen. All
short
right.
screen.
Yep. All right. Dad? What kind of dog is this? We were asking you earlier because we wanted to know because this dog saved somebody's life, and everybody wanted to know. So if you could tell us what kind of dog that is, we'd appreciate it. Thank you. Back into our articles.
Kuvaz.
Kuvaz. K-U-V-A-Z. All right, I gotta Google that. K-U-V-A-Z.
Yeah, that is pretty on point.
I told you. He knows dogs too well, man. But moving on. A Georgia man received his final paycheck of $915 and oil-covered pennies with a note that read, "Fruit you." We're trying to minimize the F-bomb here. The 91,515 coins weighed around 504 pounds and were delivered to the worker after he was forced to contact the government to get his last pay stub.
I'm wondering what's the reason for all this passive-aggressive freaking hostility here.
We're going to try and find out. A man from Fayetteville, Georgia, got his final overdue paycheck from a local auto shop in the form of a pile of pennies with a note that read, "Beep you." Attached to it earlier this month, Andreas Flatten received a delivery of over 90,000 1-cent coins, all soaked in greasy oil and dumped on his driveway. On March 13th, Instagram post by Flatten's girlfriend, Olivia Oxley, states that the huge chunk of change arrived 4 months after Flatten had quit his job at AOK Walker Auto Works, a Peachtree City business run by Mills Walker. First things first, when my boyfriend quit, he gave a written resignation letter complete with a 2 weeks notice. After Mills Walker of AOK Walker Auto Works continued to be the asshole he is and make a normal workday hell, making unnecessary comments about my boyfriend's daughter and just being an all-around dick, that 2 weeks turned into 5 days. Oxley explained that Walker had refused to send out Flatten's last paycheck, claiming damages to his shop. Once the word lawyer was introduced, this is what he did, Oxley wrote. My boyfriend's last paycheck was delivered to the end of the driveway in pennies at 8 p.m. on Friday. His last day was in November of last year. First things first, when he quit, he gave the written resignation, the 2 weeks notice. The owner had been making unnecessary comments about his daughter and being the dick he is. The boyfriend returned all his uniforms washed and in a box, complete with another letter as to why he was leaving. 3 months later, he was refusing to send out the paycheck, claiming damages to the shop, and they said a lawyer will be involved. We can't get you all the pennies. We can't even get all the pennies up because they're covered in some type of oil. Who the hell knows how we're going to get them out of the driveway, up into the car, out of the car again, and into the bank or a coin store. That's even if we can do that because they're covered in oil. I'm not sure what's worse, the fact that this man is so miserable he can't accept an employee leaving because he's the biggest asshole I've ever met, or the fact that he went through that much effort to get $915 worth of heavy pennies just to say, we get one a day to keep it PG-13, just to say, fuck you. I mean, couldn't he have, I used it, it's mine, Athen, you can wait till next week.
I'd already used them earlier on in the show.
I didn't hear him. So Fox 5 interviewed Flatten, who said he contacted the Georgia Department of Labor for assistance on his paycheck. He called his former boss's move a childish thing to do. If I've done my math correctly, 91,515 pennies come out to be about at 2.5 grams each and about 504 pounds. Flatten, who currently keeps the pennies on a wheelbarrow with wheels that have deflated due to the weight of all that zinc and copper added, that he now spends his evenings sitting in the garage cleaning the coins. I think it's going to be a lot of work for money I've already worked for, he said. A Walker did not immediately respond to Huff's post for request for comment. Walker, the owner of the shop, did speak out to other local media news outlets. He told Fox 5 that he had paid Flatten in U.S. currency and did not wish to speak further on the matter, which technically that's legal. You can pay people in whatever they want as long as it's still an accepted currency.
It's a gray area though, because there have been like in cases opposite to this where people had asshole like landlords and they got pissed and delivered their rent in pennies or something like that. There have been times where that was fought and those people were told, in a lawsuit, it's like, no, you have to pay this in actual money and all that stuff. So I would imagine he'd have to, because it's being done out of spite. And
that's more like a personal business. I can see that being a gray area. I can honestly see this being a gray area. I know if you take money to a bank or an institution. Mm-hmm. So if you're renting from an individual, like they own the apartment complex, they own everything, and they're renting it out to you, I think you have to pay in like cash or check or card. Whereas banks, dealerships, courts, certain things like that, you can pay them whatever you want. You can pay them in a million pennies. Mm-hmm. And they have to accept it. Banks will try, or certain people will fight it. But again, as an institution, they're going to lose because it's still an accepted currency. But if you were to try and buy a gun from a gunsmith, you wouldn't want to pay him in coins, because then they could challenge that and say, no, go get me the money. Go get me cash. But I do agree there is a gray area, but I do know some institutions have to accept whatever you're willing to pay in.
I mean, if they want a complete transaction, I know as like at a 7-Eleven when I was working there, it's like if someone came in and wanted to pay with all pennies, like you either go over there and count them all out and make sure you can give it to me easily, or go someplace else.
Yeah, I agree with April Mueller. She says illegal dumping. Technically, yes, because you did not have permission to dump all these pennies on my property. Plus, you covered them in a hazardous substance, which could kill my lawn, for one. Two, if any animals get a hold of it, it can make them extremely sick. So, in all honesty, Mr. whatever the hell his name was, Mr. Oxley could sue for damages and for littering on his property. If he can prove he's the one that did it, then I'd take that to court and go, hey, look, he illegally dumped.
Well, there was a letter with a pile of pennies.
Yeah, I mean that could be, if he signed it, that's enough. He illegally dumped 90,000 pennies covered in hazardous material. And taking that to court, not only is he going to get sued for one, trespassing, two, illegal dumping, and three, risking your lawn all damages, but he could have OSHA or another hazardous waste company come after him for illegal disposing of hazardous materials.
And being that the note said, you know what it said, being that it said that adds another level of like, then there's like, okay, that's obvious contempt and there's obvious spite. So that takes it to a whole other level of the stuff. It's like paying with these 90,000 pennies, like, oh, that's all I had, versus deal with this, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
This was just being petty. And if I were Mr. Oxley, I would get a lawyer still, even though you got your paycheck, but now you can take his company. And if he was that big of an asshole as you're saying he was, honestly, because that's a guy that runs a shop that's willing to lie to women and say, hey, no, you need a new transmission, new rotors, you need he's willing to steal money from people.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's that guy. So I would have no problems taking this guy to court, especially the oil alone was enough for me to be like, yep, nope, I will see you in court, get a lawyer. Well, I paid you. I don't care that you paid me. It's how you paid me.
Yeah.
So that's don't be petty. Don't be an ass. Unless you're an ass like me and I'm funny. That's just it differs. Now we've all seen what's going on with that pass that's being blocked with the giant shipping boat, right? We all know that's going on, right?
Right.
Well, a Florida man decided to do the same crap with his boat on the highway. That's right. March 26th, authorities in Florida said lanes of traffic on a busy highway were blocked for several hours when a 40-foot boat fell off the trailer. That's an expensive boat. It blocked That's a bad day. That's a lot of money. It's a nice boat too. It's a cigar boat.
Okay.
It's not a fishing boat. It's one of the nice little like go out and cruise around, cabined in, got the sleeping areas, stuff like that. It's a nice boat.
And that 40-foot, dang.
Yeah. So make sure when you're traveling with a boat, it's strapped down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, you farted in my face. I can taste it.
That's in my mouth. Reminds me of that scene from Click with David Hasselhoff.
Oh.
Where he paused it, jumped up on the thing.
Oh yeah. Did you shit in my salad? Yeah. A Florida woman that was the article for that one. A Florida woman was found naked in a storm drain after she had been missing for 3 weeks after she had got lost in a tunnel during a swim. 1, if you go swimming in a tunnel, you're an idiot. 2, to swim in a cave, you need special licensing and training to do that. But how did you get naked? Oh, it's Florida. Drugs. Of course it's drugs.
I watched this YouTube channel called Mr. Ballin. He's a former Navy SEAL that does a bunch of videos on like crazy ways people died and places you're not supposed to go. A lot of them have to do with scuba diving. Anyways, continue on.
Yeah. The naked Florida woman who rescuers pulled out of a storm drain on Tuesday had been missing for 3 weeks. Authorities said a passerby called 911 after hearing 43-year-old Lindsay Kennedy calling for help within an 8-foot pit at about 9 a.m. Police and firefighters removed the cap and lowered a ladder and a harness and pulled her to safety while holding up a white sheet to protect the woman's privacy.
Huh.
She was seen with dirt on her hands and feet, scraped knees, and authorities said she was so weak she couldn't stand on her own. She was lucky, Delray Beach Fire Rescue spokesperson Danny Moschella told the Sun Sentinel. I don't know how much longer she would have been okay down there. The idea that somebody might be down there for any length of time is disturbing. It's dirty, dangerous. There's snakes, rats, garbage, dirt, leaves, human waste. Anything that washes into a sewer and smells terrible. And she had been there since March 3rd.
Like, so she found this tunnel and she's like, hey, I want to go swimming here. Why?
It does not say that. She told investigators she had become trapped after exploring a tunnel she found while swimming in a canal near her boyfriend's home. After several turns in the tunnel system, she told the police she had become lost.
Why is she swimming in a canal? And why would you go in a tunnel in a canal? What the fuck is wrong with it? It's Florida.
It's Florida.
Like, first of all, everyone knows, well, I mean, once upon a time it was okay to swim in canals, but they were way different than they are nowadays. For the most part. I mean, if it was an actual, like, normal side of the road canal there in Florida, which I'm sure there's tons of them.
My question is, you can survive for a prolonged period of time without food. In fact, there have been many people that have survived over exactly. Exactly. That's what I want to know. Like, you can only go for a couple of days. I think it's like 3 days without water, and you'll die of dehydration. You can go weeks, if not months, without food. In fact, there was a gentleman that weighed 600 pounds who went a whole year without eating food. He just like drank shakes, and he
probably lost a lot of weight.
He almost 500 pounds. He lost almost all his fat. But you got to drink something. Ugh. Oh, she's gonna have so many diseases now. Oh, she's gonna have so many diseases. This Florida woman, we gotta love Florida. Florida woman attacked, and today we have a lot of women that are acting out.
Mm-hmm.
This Florida woman attacked student at a school while wearing boxing gloves. Jacksonville, Florida. A Florida woman was wearing boxing gloves as she attacked a student on a middle school campus. Edith Riddle of Jacksonville was arrested on child abuse charges on March 18th by Duval County School Police. Police said a school safety officer heard a frantic announcement from a teacher over DuPont Middle School's radio system about a fight outside the cafeteria. When the officer got there, he learned that 34-year-old mother had been in a physical fight with the victim. Police said Riddle was leaving school with her daughter after meeting with the vice principal, but instead of leaving the campus, police said the daughter walked out of her way through the cafeteria to engage the victim in a fight. Witness told police that Riddle's daughter pushed the victim to the ground and hit her before her mother also began punching the victim, who was lying on the ground. One witness told investigators Riddle appeared to have a boxing glove attached to her left hand. According to the report, Riddle had a boxing glove on her hand when she arrived at the school that day and told officials it was glued to her wrist and couldn't remove it. The student suffered abrasions to her knees and forearms. The girl's parents told the police she wanted to pursue criminal charges, and the parent took the student to the Hollow Up for a follow-up evaluation.
So let me see if I get this right. So there was a student and a parent coming from the principal's office, and another parent came in.
Well up.
The parent that came in had a boxing glove, or was it the kid? Because it said when she got to school.
The mom that came in
Mm-hmm.
to pick her child up had a boxing glove that she claimed was glued to her left hand. She couldn't remove. And on their way out, they walked through the cafeteria and beat the bricks off of another child. I'm wondering who was the bully. You know there was a bully in this situation. You know there was a bully in this situation.
The fact that I did it with a boxing glove, it's not abuse. I can't hurt her.
Yeah. I'm wondering if the child they attacked was a bully to her daughter and that mom just had enough.
Sounds reasonable to me.
That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Because like they're in the principal's office and it's like, you know, when will this stuff end? When will this stuff end? Well, we can't do anything about it because that tends to be what happens. You know, that tends to be what happens a lot when bullying is being brought up. And then, yeah, she's just fed up. She says, you know.
I can tell you, I'm going to be that dad that your son is dating my daughter. He's coming home to me cleaning guns. I don't care how violent you want to be. I'm not going to threaten him with them. I ain't going to say nothing about it. I'm just going to be sitting there cleaning my guns because if you do something to my daughter, you need to know there are consequences to your actions. And if you're the mom that's like, oh, well, I'll come after you. Well, maybe you need to look at your son first. If he's a good guy, I won't have any problems. I got none. I can tell you I did that a crap ton when my sister was dating. Every time she had a boy come over, I was cleaning the shotgun or sharpening knives.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would say sharpening a knife would be kind of a bigger impact because anyone who really knows a lot about guns knows you just cleaned it. If you shoot it, that means you're going to have to clean it again. So
you can be the mom that gets pissed at me for threatening your son. I didn't threaten your son. I just let him know, and there's consequences. Don't knock my daughter up. Don't hit my daughter. Don't be that guy. If you're a good kid, I got no problems with you. I mean, hell, I remember one story. My sister was dating this guy. We went. Brought him to Florida with them, and I had driven over, and I told him I want to have a nice long conversation. Let's go down and take a walk on the beach. My mom stops me and goes, "Don't kill him." And we walked out. The parents never had to step in. They knew I was going to deal with it. And let's just say I got my point across very clearly. But yeah, don't hurt my family and I won't have problems with you. If your kid's a good kid, then you shouldn't have any problems with it. If I have a son and he comes over and you're doing the same thing, I understand it. If my kid's a little shit and you need to do something, he needs to know there's consequences to his actions. Speaking of guns, I kind of wanted to save this one for Second Amendment Ranch a little bit. but it's so messed up. A pro-gun YouTuber was arrested in Brevard County for wiretapping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know why they put pro-gun on there other than to create that divide again and say guns are bad and gun owners are crazy. No, this dude's...
his YouTube channels are about guns and being pro-gun.
Yeah, I get that. You could just say this Florida man was arrested for wiretapping. Plain and simple. This man illegally recorded conversation with Parks and Recreation operations manager officers say, now I don't know about that. Certain areas, especially for public entities being Parks and Recreation, those are technically a part of the owned by the public. So you can in most courthouses, now you can't go into the courtrooms and record, but just walking around the courthouse, you can actually record. It's a public building.
But there are some states where they have laws where no matter what, you can't record someone on the phone unless the other person knows you're recording.
That's a different conversation. Recording on the phone is 100% wiretapping. And you can't do that regardless anywhere, even though we know the feds and NSA likes to wiretap everything. Hi, Agent Dave.
Well, there are some states you can record conversations held over the phone without notifying the other person. I think California, you have to let people know. Oregon's a state where you can record a phone conversation without the other person knowing.
I think Texas entities, I know my banks, I know most businesses you call, they will have a pre-made recording. This phone call will be recorded for training uses only, crap like that. Yeah. But the YouTube creator is known for posting pro-gun videos, faces charges in Brevard County after police say he illegally recorded a phone conversation with the county Parks and Recreation's operation manager. Michael Taylor was booked into the Brevard County jail early Thursday morning. According to investigators, Taylor posted videos on his YouTube pages, Solo Yacker and the Armed Fisherman, where he conducts First and Second Amendment audits around the state, which entails him open carrying a gun and a fishing pole, and then filming the response from the police, which, if you don't know, in the state of Florida, if you're fishing, you can open carry a firearm to and from your fishing areas. Just a little fun fact for you. But I don't know about any other states. I don't think Texas does that. I've been trying to find that because I would like to carry while I fish, but I haven't actually found anything. I know I'd have to look into that more, but according to Titusville Police, Taylor was recently asked to leave Parish Park along Amax Brewer Memorial Parkway, where he was fishing with a rifle. Police included the quotes around the world fishing in the word fishing in the report. Officers said the man then made multiple calls to the police department and the county Parks and Recreation Department. Police said during one of these calls, Taylor recorded the conversation he had with Jeff Davis, the operations manager for Brevard County Parks and Recreation. The conversation was included in a video uploaded on March 3rd, the Armed Fisherman YouTube page titled Someone is Lying, Titusville PDO Board OF Commissioners, or is it conspiracy, according to the affidavit for an arrest warrant. Police said David was never informed that he was being recorded and did not give permission for the call to be recorded. Florida law requires that both parties consent for conversation to be recorded. First Amendment does allow individuals to record public officials in the course of their duties while they are in public, such as recording a police officer during arrest and sometimes in private settings. However, News 6 legal expert Steve Kramer said that Florida two-party consent law doesn't allow an individual to record a private phone call with a public official without their consent, even if that public official is on the job at the time of the recording. An exception would be if this phone call were made on a line that is always recorded, similar to a customer service line. Yeah, I'm not going to delve too deep in that. We don't have a lot of time. I think he screwed up by posting it on a YouTube video. But I think a public official should be allowed to be recorded during anything like that, because if he was fishing, quote unquote, if he is in the act of fishing, doesn't matter if he actually has a line in the water or not. If he has a firearm and you try and impede on his Second Amendment rights to carry a firearm while he's fishing, you're in the wrong. You're just trying to twist this story so it makes it look like he's the bad guy. Now, he did screw up. I'm not saying that he didn't, but you are trying to take away his rights and liberties by telling him he can't fish anymore. Doesn't matter. As long as he looks like he's fishing, you can piss off. This story gave me a headache. A woman accused of hitting a child with a car claims she was trying to run over someone else. Yes, another Florida story. If you're going to say something stupid, at least don't be that retarded. I was trying to hit somebody else. Well, you're going to jail for attempted manslaughter and vehicular, especially if you killed him, vehicular slaughter. Because you admitted openly that you were trying to hit somebody else, but you hit this person. Pompano Beach, Florida. Chaos unfolded at Pompano Beach Park last week after a driver was accused of slamming her car into a woman and a child. Driver took down a portion of a gate before driving into a playground and hitting a grandmother and her 3-year-old grandson. See those kids running and screaming for their lives, said the grandmother. She said she saw a group at Pompano Beach County Park. They were on the other side, and it was a fight, so we started to get all the kids to get them out of the park because we saw the situation was getting worse and worse. Fedline St. Felix was behind the wheel of the vehicle that hit McLeod. Records show she said she went to the park to settle an argument with another woman after she got emotional. I was attempting to run her over, but I see someone put her out of the way. Instead, McLeod said St. Felix came barreling toward her and her grandson, knocking down a gate in the process and driving to the park where the children were playing. I was just running to my grandbaby, McLeod said. Had I not picked him up, she would have ran him completely over, and he would have been under the car. As I am picking him up, she's just hitting us both, and we went just flying over the car, and we finally hit the ground. St. Felix said she completely lost control of the car. I was trying to find the brakes. She said I couldn't find the brakes. I didn't mean to hit them. It was an accident, and I hope they are okay. St. Felix was arrested and appeared in bond court over the weekend. McLeod is thankful that she and her grandson are physically okay. I was upset. I was very upset, McLeod said. At the end of the day, we have to move on and we have to forgive. A judge ruled that St. Felix was not allowed to have any contact with the victims. McLeod's grandson sustained injuries to the leg and was she required some staples. She said her grandson didn't even want to go to the park anymore. Yeah, I think you need to go to jail. I think you need to go to prison.
Mm-hmm.
So one person's state. So if I'm privy to the conversation, I can record it. Former Florida teacher guilty of mailing white powder to schools. Tampa, Florida. A Florida woman pled guilty to mailing threatening letters containing white powder to elementary schools, Anthrax, where she previously worked as a teacher, Anthrax. Maria Bassi LaRoe of Davenport faces charges of 15 years in prison after pleading guilty Thursday in Tampa federal court to 3 counts of making hoaxes that appeared to involve a biological agent or toxin, according to the court records.
Yep. If you just mail someone some cornstarch or freaking flour and don't say anything about what it is, that's a threat.
Yep. She had been fired for her poor performance from each of the schools, and each victim who had received a note had played a role in her performance reviews for termination. So, yeah, don't do that. Don't be that woman. I got 3 left in 2 minutes. A not haunted Massachusetts house scares up an interest in the town. A for sale sign outside of a home in Boston area neighborhood features the words "not haunted" in big red letters. Carl. Massachusetts woman noticed something strange on the for sale sign. Massachusetts woman noticed something strange about the for sale sign outside a home in her neighborhood. On top of the sign with the name of the broker and their contact information was a sign with words that read "not haunted" in big red letters. This just went up around the corner, and I have so many questions. Margaret Bloomstein wrote in a tweet this week that included an image of the sign. The Boston Globe reported Thursday. The house in west of Boston, but Bloomstein didn't want to say exactly where to respect the home's privacy, she said, but she reached out to the real estate agency to learn more about the sign. They knew nothing about it. The consensus is the sign is a prank, maybe played by a ghost with a sense of humor. National Guardsmen transporting the COVID-19 vaccines are held at gunpoint in Texas. Suspect is accused of stopping 3 National Guard vans, identifying himself as a detective, ordering the Guardsmen out of their vehicle, and demanding to search their vans. National Guardsman Larry Harris is accused of following a convoy of National Guard soldiers before attempting to run them off the highway with his truck several times in Lubbock County, according to the Idalou Police Chief Eric C. Williams. Harris of Willcox, Arizona, eventually turned his truck into an oncoming traffic, stopping 3 National Guard vans near Idalou. Williams said he then pointed a gun at the soldier, identified himself as a detective, ordered the guardsmen out of the vehicles, and demanded to search the vans. The guardsmen were uniformed and transporting vaccines to Matador, Texas. Idalou police responded and were able to arrest Harris without incident. Williams said he had a loaded .45 caliber Colt 1911 pistol and an additional magazine on his person and another loaded magazine in his truck. None of the National Guardsmen were injured, and the vaccines eventually made it to Matador. Why are National Guardsmen lit? Okay. Yeah, it's the National Guard. It's the National.
They were unarmed.
Okay.
What good are they to escort stuff if they're unarmed? I mean, I'm just saying.
Exactly. Yeah. Finally, our last article. This one gets a little political. A Trump wax figurine has moved in Texas because people keep punching it in the face. Wax figure of former President Donald Trump was removed from a display at Louis Tuzado's Waxworks in San Antonio, Texas, which San Antonio is becoming extremely liberal, because customers kept punching and scratching it. We've always had trouble with the presidential section because no matter what president it was, Bush, Obama, or Trump, they've all had people beat them. Clay Stewart, regional manager for Ripley Entertainment, told the San Antonio Express News. Ripley's owns the Waxworks. Stewart told the newspaper that Trump figure had been beaten badly enough to leave deep marks on his waxy face, necessitating the move to storage. Figure of former President Barack Obama lost its ear 6 times. Former President George W. Bush figure's nose was punched in. Yeah, I can see Obama's being, at least in Texas, I could see that one damn near being showing up missing. I can't justify any of this. It's defacing private property. It's destruction of private property. And if you have such a problem with the president, with what's going on now with your president, you've been drinking the Kool-Aid way too long. The fact that he has had hundreds of executive orders and is now threatening executive orders against the Second Amendment, people need to wake up. But something is brewing. Something big and bad is coming. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be on the side that's fighting with dildos and spatulas. People are just aggressive about their political party, he commented. Ripley's made 3 Trump figures in 2016 for its various attractions around the nation, saying each one took its sculptors about 6 weeks to craft. 6 weeks of somebody's work gone because you're an ass.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I would want, if I got a wax figure of former President Barack Obama or a certain current standing officer, I'd be so happy to strap about 40 pounds of C4 and watch that wax figurine just fly. Send him to the moon. But I'm not. I'm not going to, 1, I'm not spending 6 weeks to do that. 2, I'm not going to waste 40 pounds of tannerite would be about $600. But that's a lot of time somebody put in to entertain people, and you just crapped all over it. It's like what Facebook's doing to us with all these shadow bans. We can't get our numbers out there because Facebook hates us. Now, it's not destruction. It's just making it harder for us to do our job. Ripley's is currently working on another likeness of President Joe Biden. One visitor said on a YouTube video tour that figures in the San Antonio Museum look maybe 30 to 40% like the celebrities or famous people that they're trying to mimic, and compared to Trump. What? that the figures, okay, they're close, so they only look about 30 to 40% accurate. But still, that's 6 weeks of somebody's life, and it just got crapped all over. So I can't justify that. But that is our last article. I figured some of you might find that funny, especially hearing how former President Barack Obama had his ear ripped off 6 times. I thought that was hilarious. Again, I can't justify it. I'm not saying go and destroy this crap unless you pay for it and like, hey, I'm buying this wax figurine from you so I can do evil things to it. But if he's looking to put it in the museum, don't be a dick. But on that note, we are past our time. I apologize. Ran a little long today. I had plenty of articles to cover, and I like to go off on tangents. But check out the other shows. Check out everything that goes on with Woe Entertainment and Bill of Rights Network. Be sure to tune in tomorrow to see me on the Second Amendment Ranch. Hopefully, as long as Mr. Carl's still feeling fine, I'll have to get with him later, probably in the morning, and see if he's good. I might need a guest for that then, if he's feeling ill. Hopefully, he gets better. He's a good guy. We look forward to seeing you again next Sunday, same time, same place. Hopefully, I have something that can top some of these. We've had our really WTF stories, and those are getting hard to beat nowadays. We need somebody to do something real stupid again, like shoving another Christmas tree up their hoo-ha. that article will sit with me forever. But we look forward to seeing you. As always, I'm Cameron.
I'm Athen.
And it's 1700 somewhere.